authenticator app.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
To get back into the email?
It's not, it didn't do it to everybody. It's doing it one by one.
Yeah, that's.
Special call town council meeting, budget workshop, Tuesday, March 4th, 2025.
But I can get it at work, my office and my house.
I got 7 o'clock.
I'd like to call this special called meeting of the Town Council, Stokesdale. It is March the 4th, it's 7 p.m. This is a budget workshop. All council members are present except for Mr. Rigsby. If you would, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Make it a long sermon.
Thank you.
For Ms. Thacker. Mr. Jones is going to do our invocation for us.
If you would, bow your heads, please. Dear Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to serve the town of Stokesdale, and we pray for our nation and pray for our leadership of our nation. There's many blessings that have been bestowed upon Stokesdale, and help us be worthy of them. You know our needs better than we do. We ask that you guide and direct us in the formation of our yearly budget for the town of Stokesdale, and not taking all things into consideration and being responsible with the monies that are entrusted to us by our citizens in Stokesdale. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Okay, we open up today with, we're going to review and adopt the agenda and adopt the agenda. I make a motion that we do adopt the agenda for March 4th, 2025.
I'll second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Any discussion? Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landreth?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
And I am also aye. Do we have any public comments? This is for the budget workshop, please. And we would ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. Please, I do need you to identify yourself, and if you would give us your address.
Matt Shears, 8812 Hutchins Road. Thank you all. First, I want to say thanks for your commitment to fiscal responsibility with the budget process, and thank you for all your work for the town. I'm talking today, or speaking on behalf of a group of kind of informal citizens and business owners that have been meeting over the last few weeks to talk about pedestrian transportation in Stokesdale. And so when you drive downtown, you'll notice that there's a number of and more citizens choosing to walk different places. So there's downtown employees who are walking to BJ's for lunch, walking to the post office for errands. There's families taking walks downtown with their kids after work, citizens walking for exercise around downtown. And Stokesdale is unique in that we do have that compact traditional downtown within our town core. And so as pedestrian traffic continues to grow, this kind of informal group would like to start promoting more walkable ways and walkable items within Stokesdale. And so to this end, we research ways to cost-effectively promote pedestrian infrastructure, and we found a number of different grants, local, Guilford County, state, and even federal grants that will fund pedestrian projects up to, some of them are matching, but some of them are up to 100% depending on the project. And these sorts of grants would align well with Stokesdale's future land use plan, and also we think it would enhance events like the Christmas Parade and other downtown events as well too. And so we discovered, however, that in order to apply for most of those grants, municipalities are required to have what's called a pedestrian transportation plan. And so it's almost impossible to get any of those grants without some sort of pedestrian transportation plan. And so luckily, we discovered also from folks at NPO and Piedmont Triad Regional Council that they do provide a program to assist for applying for a grant to cover 90% of the cost of creating a pedestrian transportation plan. And so there would just be a one-time 10% cost for the town. And they helped Oak Ridge do this a number of years ago, actually. And so having a pedestrian transportation plan could unlock grant funding from local, state, and federal to promote pedestrian safety, crosswalks, sidewalks, things like that. And it could do so without requiring large amounts of investment from reserves or from the town. And so we're currently finalizing the details on that research, and we hope to send each of you a document with that information here soon. And we hope that, and we would really appreciate your feedback and your input on that. And we humbly ask that as the consideration of the budget comes along, that perhaps this could be something that's part of that as well too. So we thank you very much for your work, and hopefully we'll have some more information for y'all to read in the next couple weeks. So thank you.
Matt, the 90% that they are covering for the plan,
Yes.
for the pedestrian plan, any idea what that, do you have any idea what the total figure is?
Yeah, so we have reached out to them, and they said there are different variables and stuff, and so that's why we didn't have anything for you tonight. So we hope to have that sometime.
Do you have a guesstimate? Can you give me a verbal? I'm not going to hold you to it.
They said it depends on a number of different variables. They didn't give a specific figure, unfortunately.
Okay, well, again, we're at a budget time. So for us to even take part in this, we're going to have to figure out how to put this in our budget.
Yes.
So the sooner you can get us some numbers, we have 3 months to work on this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay? Thank you very much.
Very much.
And I've
yeah.
got a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Foy?
Has your group looked at any other areas outside of downtown?
Yeah, so really what we've found is the transportation or the grants, there's kind of legal wordage about town core as well too, and I know that we've established town core all the way to the town park here as well too. And so it just depends on the different grant funding and what that looks like, so. But the transportation, or the pedestrian transportation plan would look at the entire town. So Oak Ridge is, for example, looks at the entire town, and what we'll do is we'll send you Oak Ridges that they developed as well too.
And the PTRC helped Oak Ridge?
Yeah, the PTRC actually created the plan for Oak Ridge. There's a grant through the state, it's called the Intermodal Transportation Grant, that helps towns, small towns, create these plans. And that's the grant that funds it up to 90% with a 10% investment from the county. And so one of the things that we asked David McKinney is to provide us that kind of cost estimate. But unfortunately, we don't have that right now.
Mr. Landreth, you had a question?
I'll hold it for another time.
Okay. Matt, thank you
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt.
But Mayor, for the record, I want to point out that no council member has put this on a previous agenda. The town council has not made any decision about whether to pursue that or not. And with respect to the enthusiasm of a private citizen and a group, we want to be sure we don't get the cart in front of the horse here. I would need to know perhaps we need to look at Oak Ridge's plan and what they spent and what it's costing and the benefits thereof. I don't know. But unless y'all have made a vote somewhere that I've missed, we haven't agreed to pursue this.
No, I don't think you missed any vote. This was just a citizen sharing information and Mike and I asking a couple questions.
Exactly. Exactly. That's all this was, information.
Okay, yeah, I can accept that.
Okay, good. Discussion of the 2025 to 2026 fiscal year budget. Kimberly, I believe you can have the floor.
I'm assuming you guys all received your email Friday night from me.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
You're welcome. And I tried, as you see, you've got two different sets this year because I didn't want to mess up our new pretty budget. So I put the fiscal year 23, fiscal year 23 actuals and 24 on the separate spreadsheet. And then on your proposed budget for fiscal year 25-26, you have the proposed budget for that year and the fiscal year actual year-to-date of 25. So,
Yeah.
okay.
And let's see. I see the budget message. I think you guys did a really good job. Prepared by Robbie and Kim. Kim, was it you that used the word picturesque and meticulously in that, or is that Robbie Wagner's
That was
word?
Mr. Wagner.
I thought it might have been.
I did too. I did too.
That would be Mr. Wagner.
Literary license.
No, good job on the message. Can we talk about it, though?
Sure. I haven't even read.
If we go to page 2 of 6, in the paragraph that starts with for the 25-26 fiscal year, it goes on to talk about providing longstanding services to residents, including street lighting and downtown and the municipal water system. In terms of services, you know, can we reference the park here? And I know the park is otherwhere, but just reference the park, and also, can we reference that, you know, we offer planning and zoning services?
Yeah, I'll be glad to add that. Those are mentioned in the first paragraph as well, but I'll be glad to add it there too.
I understand,
Yeah.
there's a
That's okay.
reason I ask, with the General Assembly looking at towns and services and all that, I just want to make sure that we include all the services.
Yeah, I'll reiterate it there. That's no problem. That makes me, would it be okay to add the downtown lighting in the first paragraph as well? Or just leave that where it's at and then just add?
Yeah, I know my request is redundant, but.
That's okay. No, it's
again,
fine.
it's for
That's
a
okay.
reason.
Yeah, the park area, I mean, the park, it has a little redundancy to it too, but there's a, you know, as you go on, it kind of makes sense. But that's fine. I'll add it.
No, I mean, I know, y'all spend a lot of time on this message alone, and I think it's laid out it's very easy to follow.
Good.
Mr. Ford, do you think it would be appropriate to expand the verbiage a little bit in regards to the town's water system? It's a big part of what we do.
Maybe a paragraph with the history of the water system.
Well,
Customers?
maybe the date it was installed. I don't know if it'd be appropriate to mention the number of customers. That might be something to consider. And then, I think,
How it was paid for.
for clarification, I think we always need to be clear with our citizens that we're operating two different budgets. We're operating our general fund budget and our water enterprise budget.
Yep.
I wonder if we're not missing something here that we could put in. Is there any, unless I missed it, there's nothing in here, how we used to receive sales tax money.
There is.
There is?
There is. If you look at, right under the paragraph I was speaking to, so on page 2 of 6, about halfway in the page, it says.
Oh, yeah, it is.
So that figure, 312,266, that's a very specific figure. So did that come from an old audit or?
That came from an old budget message.
Okay. Is
So-
there,
Is there a way we could find out how much we would get now?
that,
Or something, if they went to that, we would receive this, but we don't, or something.
Mr. Landorf, I think that would require an analysis that would be hard to generate. So if we put a number in, I would want to emphasize that it would be a guess.
Okay, just like that, that's just,
I don't think it's a bad idea, but I don't know how we'd get there.
yeah.
Or we'll be there.
Yeah,
And if it's in the audit, we can rely on it.
correct. I'm trying to think back on the research that I've done on this sales tax distribution. I want to say that back in 2002, there was a special called meeting held to discuss the sales tax distribution loss. And this was the number that the council said we will no longer get if they change the method of distribution. I'll go back and check those minutes, but
If you look in the audit, it should be easy to find what the actual number was that we received in that 2-year span while we had it versus when we no longer received it, if you see what I'm saying.
understood, yeah.
and Robbie, I wouldn't even be asking about that number if the number we had seen from a projection 13 years later wouldn't have been so much higher.
Yeah, understood. I'll double check it and make sure that's the number.
And I'm kind of like Tim, where I really would like that information to come from an audit and, you know,
Yeah, I'll pull the audit report from that year.
perfect.
And just to clarify, the paragraph above, Mr. Jones, you want to put the date installed and how many citizens?
How many connections we have, I think would be appropriate for anybody interested. I think that's useful information, don't Joel?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Good news is that number grows every day.
Are you gonna
so-
put in what it is today as far as a comparison?
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, you know, as of the date of this budget message
Yeah.
or whatever is implied that it's,
We
a
can
current number.
keep that number flexible until
sure.
the 30th of June, and then we'll
Sure.
have a solid number.
And then about the park and play.
So I'll update that paragraph.
Is there any more conversation, Mr. Foy?
Not about the budget message, no.
Okay.
Well, one other thing. Have we got verbiage in here that lets everybody know we are supplying supplemental firefighting water to the Stokesdale Fire Department as well as surrounding jurisdictions?
It's in that same paragraph that I was,
That's right. It says a municipal water system that supplies potable drinking water and supplemental fire water for the fire district.
Yeah,
Well, I'd like to insert the Stokesdale Fire District as well as surrounding jurisdictions. They do pull out of our water system. We don't know how much they pull out. We just know they do, and when they do,
simple enough.
it's a
Just
worthy cause, but still we're paying for it.
Okay.
simple enough. Before the fire district, insert Stokesdale Fire District,
And surrounding.
or before fire, yeah, and surrounding.
No problem.
It's certainly a factor for the fire department, and our citizens benefit by the lower insurance rate.
correct.
Anything else? Ms. Thacker, when you're ready.
I like all those little notes there. I don't even think we started anywhere, did we?
Do you have cliff notes that you're working for versus what we have in front of us?
No, I was gonna start with the general fund, just kind of how we did last year.
Excellent, excellent.
And if you notice on your proposed budget, there are a few items that are highlighted. But let's start with the revenue first. So, and I'm in the general fund again. For the state collected revenues, utilities, 295,000. The beer and wine excise tax, 24,000, excuse me.
Ms. Thacker, what page are you on?
Page 1 of 4 of your proposed budget in the general fund.
After
Thank
the
you,
very,
thank
after
you,
the very
thank you.
first page.
Okay. The planning and zoning fees, 20,000. The solid waste disposal, 4,920. Contributions and donations, 4,500. Town hall and park facilities, 2,000. Greensboro Jamestown profit share, I left that blank because we have yet to receive anything for this fiscal year. That's still kind of been up in the air. We haven't heard anything about that anymore.
What do you mean, up in there?
Well, if you remember last year, we did not receive, you may have to help me remember what that lady said, on the Guilford Jamestown profit sharing. We were receiving, funds, and in this year, this fiscal year so far, we have received 0.
They changed their distribution method
Because
because they did capital improvements, and they were taking those capital improvements out before they distributed the money, whereas before, those capital improvements were taken out after they distributed the money.
How did that decide? Did the boards decide to do that, or did the legislature decide to do that?
I don't know that answer.
No.
I bet they did. Damn lot.
They did change it on us last year, though. I did leave that blank. I can try and find out more about that to see. But once again, we've not received anything for this fiscal year to date, so.
Well, that's good to leave it off.
Miscellaneous expense, I have $1,000. So for the total local operating revenue, we're at $351,420. The investment earnings, I did go to $100,000 on that. I'm gonna look more into that since we did just enter into some more CDRs last, or the week before last, I believe it was. And so I wanna look at that number again, but if I can revisit that one,
I think it's safe.
you think it's safe for the 100?
Well, I definitely think we'll get the 100.
You don't
Yeah,
think-
that's what
you
I'm
don't think
saying. I
it's
didn't
high.
know if we would get any more. Yeah, I was thinking maybe if I was thinking maybe 10,000 more, but
I kinda like where you're at.
Okay.
If you annualize where we're at today, that's 107,000.
Yeah.
A couple things, just from the revenue side, from what we've discussed so far. If you wouldn't mind taking a look at the beer and wine excise tax and gauge your comfort level on if we brought that up to 28, we can talk about that next meeting. And I do want to talk about the Greensboro-Jamestown profit share because we did talk about this last year, and Robbie's right, there was a funding, a method of funding distribution equation change or whatever. On top of that, they were correcting an error from the
Yes.
previous
We
year.
got double paid.
But we still received $4,800 or so last year. Is that right? Hold on,
Let me get over there.
46.
But that was the mistake. That was the year of the mistake. That last payment that they sent to us for fiscal year '23, you're talking about?
23, I agree, was a mistake, but 24, I thought the mistake was corrected, and we still received $4,600.
We did, and it came in that first quarter, before they corrected that mistake. We got a pretty good check that first quarter. I'm looking it up, I'm going to find it. But I definitely want to revisit that once I find out more about that.
That's fine, we won't belabor it in here, but maybe just some follow-ups and, because I was thinking 5, but if we can be more certain on that.
Okay. I'm
And
gonna
then,
work that out by here. 5, question mark.
I would also like to get your thoughts on the solid waste disposal. While that is income, I'm thinking out loud here. The expense side of that is more of a reserved.
Yes.
In other words, it's kind of like that water capacity fee. So if we're using that same logic, I like the way you have that set up by accounting for it on the expense side of the budget. Never mind, I'm good on that one.
Okay.
Okay. And Kim, can you explain, because I think last year was the first year, or maybe Robbie, you too, just kind of the origin of the solid waste disposal fee and what that money can be used for?
That fee can be used for any type of education to do with waste, anything like that. Shredding, if the town wanted to do a shredding event for the citizens, that money can be used for that, but we are limited on, and that's it. We are limited on, that's it. Am I forgetting anything on that?
That's right.
That's right. We're
Anything
limited.
related to solid waste
Yes,
or
anything,
recycling.
yeah,
In other words, you can't use that money for salaries.
no,
Correct.
that's
And-
right.
That's right.
And I have entered an expense item for that this year in the budget as well.
Okay.
And you'll be seeing an amendment come across your desk for this year on that one soon.
And we receive that because every year we submit a solid waste disposal report. Our trash company, at this time being GFL, they provide us with the amount of recycling and the amount of solid waste that they've collected throughout the year. They give us that information, we send it to the state, and you get a piece of that back. You get so much per ton.
Good.
Have they established a date or anything for the bulk that they did last year?
So that's on us. It's, we can reach out to them and ask them if they would be available on such and such day, and they would tell us if they're available to give us dumpsters that day or not.
Okay, okay.
So,
Do y'all feel like we need to do that again?
Yes, I do.
It only worked because mainly Jimmy Landers was down there loading everything they dumped in the parking lot over into the dumpster.
Well, I mean, it's all right, there's not as much stuff on the side of the road.
We've got to
A lot of
publicize
that
it.
stuff would end up on the side of the road.
That's something we've got to publicize too. We can't just, I didn't know the date. And of course, I was out of action at that time, but
Yeah, I mean, we'll do it again, but, we've spoken with GFL, kind of did a postmortem about that. And they have committed to have more open tops in the rotation. Now, we can't force people to actually take the junk and put it in the open top, but at least the open tops in theory shouldn't be as, full as last time. I think our challenge last time is we didn't have enough open tops in the rotation, and they would fill up, overflow, and then people would just drop their junk for Jimmy to.
Well,
Do they not provide a construction dumpster?
in my observation,
Yeah,
when we use them for our work, we're paying a bill and we have to utilize every square foot and all, we stack our stuff in there. Our citizens are not necessarily motivated likewise, so they just toss it over in there and they fill up quick with, everything under the sun.
It was a little
But
messy.
where I'm getting to is maybe, I wonder if GFL has some sort of loading platform available, with a set of stairs or something like that we could lay our hands on.
That's
He
interesting.
hollered not available on his way up.
That's interesting.
He hollered not
But
available
hey,
when he
it
was
got a
going
little
through the
messy,
door.
but it was better than being on the side of the road. If people don't understand it, so be it.
Yeah,
Well, I think that's a valid point for sure.
we can,
We could get
We-
could we not rent a tow motor? I mean, would that not help? I mean, I don't know how solid it is. Are we talking couches and chairs and refrigerators?
Need to rent
What are we
nothing.
talking about?
bring a tow motor, this is fantastic.
Tow motor, man.
I'm just saying, it would
I
lift
tell
it
you,
up and
shoot,
get it.
while we're thinking about that, they throwed a lot of good stuff away. Why don't we're overstaffed.
Let's
half the
do a
time.
market.
Why don't we just
Let's-
have a yard sale?
Let's
out
do
there
a yard
with the
sale. Let's
stuff?
do it.
A town yard sale the week before.
We're gonna have a tow motor, we might as well.
Yeah.
We don't need one.
Okay,
We don't need one.
okay. Well, Wasn't here. I
So,
had no idea.
a follow-up item for that, and we're kind of going off
That's okay.
script here. Maybe just to get a couple days or a weekend that would work for GFL, and we could bring it back to council. I'll talk to Robbie about it offline.
May sounds like a good month
You all right?
Pardon me, I apologize.
Yeah,
for.
Yeah, you got this started.
Suggesting that we better be careful what we start here and how we manage it, that's what.
So I stepped out for a minute, but I did catch the question before I left about the loading dock. We asked them about that last year. They weren't able to get us one, but they did give us dumpsters that open from the side. And so that works well until it fills up, and then you have to close the door.
yeah. I think the trick here is just to have more open tops in
It
the
is,
rotation.
it is. Have two, and then have them come pick them up. That worked out well. Towards the end of that week, they had two, and that worked well. One thing that we're gonna have to do differently is block off those parking spots, because if there was an empty spot, there was going to be a car pull into that spot, and then a dumpster wasn't able to be put there. So that was why we only had one dumpster at one time.
As long as, we kind of learned what didn't work last time, and,
Correct. It was a learning experience.
all right.
So.
Yeah, well,
Okay. Our next one, as you see, are the grants. Those I do have highlighted because those numbers will change. However, the expenses offset. They balance out regardless. As a matter of fact, I have a check that I'm writing tonight for half of the soccer field lights. So the ARPA funds are actually gonna be reduced, and at our last final meeting, I will have that final number.
So can we apply that, the first half of that check to the state grant?
Yes. Well,
Oh, is there, yeah, well, yes, if that's what you want, yeah. Oh, I've already put it.
it'll cover all but about 20,000
It will, and then the balance would go,
To the ARPA,
yeah. In terms of,
I'll just void that check.
and I know it's gonna change, I would suggest just to put the ARPA at whatever unencumbered balance that we still have, which is high thirties or,
Yeah, around 40, yeah, around 41, whatever my balance sheet said last time. Okay, that'll be fine. I'll just void that check.
but as far as the lighting project, that final disbursement will be this fiscal year. I think they're just,
41, yeah,
they're
41,
two. Say what?
41,000.
Okay.
Okay.
so that'll be done. So we really want
It'll be done this fiscal year, so maybe for the next meeting, if you could just put the unencumbered amount of money there.
0, and then the 41 there, okay, got it.
And also,
41K.
technically, that 41,000 would come from the fund balance, because we've already gotten our money.
That's correct.
Moving right along.
Not quite.
No?
So could we just note that it would come from the ARPA fund balance, so to speak?
Yes.
That it's not money we are designated to receive, that we've.
Correct,
Okay.
yes. Yes.
Buddy, it's my Super Bowl. We're gonna be here all night.
Okay, so we'll move down to the expenses unless anybody else has questions about the revenue.
Not yet, no more.
Go ahead.
We'll move down to the expenses. So we've got the events fund, which actually offset my contributions and donations, because that's normally where we use that. The electrical repair, cleaning and lighting at Town Park, $10,941.32. So that makes our cultural and recreational expenses $15,441.32.
As far as that category goes, are you paying the power bill out of that, or what do you mean by electrical?
That is for, yes, the town park streetlights, the town park lights. Anything to do with the park comes out of that fund, comes out of that line item.
Just checking.
Yes, okay. And, so then we'll move over to the economic and physical development expenses. We've got the planning and zoning at $6,500. That's for advertising, I'm sorry. Now that, I question because I know that we did change some things on that. We may be able to reduce that number because how we're able to advertise now. And I actually meant to highlight that, and I just realized that.
How much is that? Is it $10 or something?
$10 a pop, it's the best
Yeah.
And so how many times did we advertise?
Since we've done that, I can give you an exact number. Hold on. I'll do it on the big screen so I can show you how easy it is for anybody at home.
What-
I think it is.
So if you go to, legal notices, this is why this method is just so much more user-friendly than the newspaper.
Yeah.
If you go down to jurisdiction, there's only a handful of us that are doing it. Stokesdale is one of them.
Everybody else likes to spend
But-
taxpayers' money.
It's the best deal in town, I tell you.
We've been doing this for a while now, and it's working for us.
Phenomenally.
Well, even a blind hog gets an acorn once in a while, so
So
I'm very
Robbie, what
glad.
you're saying, $10 per, so if we had 50
It'd be
advertisements,
correct.
Is there anything else we advertise that'd be in this line item?
So, no, nothing. Just legal notices, and that's it. The only other thing that we ever advertise is the Christmas parade, and that comes out of an entirely different line item.
You should be able to drop that down to 1,000,
Yes.
1,000, and then, that'd be too much probably, but that'd be safe.
yeah.
So since we,
Now, does the length of the advertisement, does that matter? You know, if you've got 200 words or 20 words, do we get
Doesn't matter.
charged the same?
same,
Is there a max on number of words?
I haven't
I'm thinking
found that
ahead
big
to
one.
our UDO, you know, what we're doing later down the road. That may require more detailed advertisement. I don't know.
So the good news is, I don't believe there's a max. If there is a character limit, it does, this is what I love about it, is that it allows us to put in a hyperlink for a PDF. So you can attach a PDF of any size. Typically what I do is I'll go in there, I try to keep legal notices to one page. I'll copy and paste that in a Word format, put it in the box. So Guilford County, how this works is, they have given me remote access to essentially their server. I remote in, I'm able to select when I would like for this to be done, when I want it posted, when I want it taken off, put in the characters of what I want it to say, attach a PDF document of the actual notice itself, hit submit, and then somebody at the county in the clerk's office will approve it. And the only thing that they would check for is that if your dates were wrong or something like that, and then they'll post it.
Okay, that sounds like that works well, and I like Jimmy's suggestion of changing that to 1,000.
I just changed that over here. I'm still gonna make my note here just in case.
Thank you, ma'am.
Computer.
Okay, here we go. So since we've started, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've had 4 so far. We've had 4 so far.
I'm writing a check.
Okay. Excellent.
$40.
Yep, I remember writing a check.
All right, so that brings us down to the general admin expenses.
Yeah, so that will drop down, the economic and physical development will drop down to 26,000.
Let me interrupt real quick. Back up to the planning fees. You're estimating at 25,000 versus what we're doing right now at 12.5, those are year-to-date?
No, they bill us semi-quarterly. So we get billed twice a year for $12,500.
I got you, okay.
Yes,
And that's a contracted amount.
Yeah,
Yes,
interlocal
and-
agreement.
It's
Gotcha.
probably, well, I ain't gonna say that.
I just said it for you, Jimmy, so
All right.
hopefully it doesn't change. Fingers crossed. Okay, so we'll move down to general admin expense. The fees in education, that is $8,000, and I know that is, I used up that just a little bit from last year. Robbie, I think, has two, do you have two or
Yeah,
three?
so I'll have
Two or
two.
three, okay.
Yeah.
And I have one conference. So, and the 8,000 would cover our conferences for this fiscal year 25-6 coming up. Advertising for non-zoning use related, I have that at 1,000. Now, that is where we use, for budget meetings, advertisement for budget meetings and anything like the special call meetings. That's what we,
So, yes, so she is correct in that, we still would use the same method. We would still be posting it on there. It's just that since it's not planning and zoning related, for instance, in June of this year, the budget that we're looking at now will require a public hearing before it can be approved. That will need to be paid for to be advertised. That will cost $10. It doesn't need to come out of the planning and zoning line item. It'll come out of this line item.
Is there anything else we do that we're gonna have to go to the paper with or anything like that? We'll all go on this. If that be the case, we probably just need to, we can knock this down.
I think we need to knock it down. We do, in the past, we advertised with the Northwest Observer for the parade. But that money is covered by the events fund. So,
So this is just the $10. These are, the only advertising we'll be doing out of this line item is the $10 shops, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know why we need, what, a couple $100?
yeah, I just killed the whole line.
Well, you know, they probably, well,
can I have a,
put 100 in it.
can I have $50?
50?
I think 50 would
I'm
be
just saying
fine.
it could be caught somewhere else, but okay.
I can't see us needing to advertise more than 5 times for something non-planning related, honestly.
Want to cushion us a little bit.
So $100?
Put 100 in it. I
Okay.
mean, what's that, you know, just put 100 in it, knock it down 9.
Okay.
I mean, that's all right with y'all.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yep,
Yes, sounds good.
no objection.
All right, let me make my
Next.
note on that. Hold tight. Let me make my note on that one. Okay. Okay, next is membership and dues. That I have moved up to $12,500. And for travel for staff and council.
Ms. Tanker,
Yes.
while I'm thinking about it, how much of that membership is the League of Municipalities?
Bear with me. Let me go into where we're at right now.
Is that like 8,000 or something?
Are we in anything we don't need to be in?
I don't think so. I really don't. I've been invited to the Mayor's Association, and I'm probably gonna do that on my own. I think it's worthwhile doing.
We're incorporated.
Huh?
We're incorporated.
What do you mean?
You asked if there's anything we should be in that we shouldn't be in.
I'm talking about memberships.
Secede.
So what are you saying? You getting lunch out of this?
That's
See.
got its own.
No, that was actually for when we were doing those, where we paid that additional out.
Okay.
That's why.
So Kim, of that 11,956 year to date, could you go over what all that
Yes.
entails, just the
I have it
breakdown?
pulled up right now.
And go ahead. Well, I was just gonna mention while she's pulling that up, so it does include that, okay. Okay, so one thing I'll add is, obviously, we were not members of the Piedmont Triad Regional Council 2 years ago, roughly. When we asked them to do this review of our development ordinance, we got a better rate, significantly better rate by becoming members. I'll add that you guys approved their proposal for membership for that year. So we've received last month, a second proposal for renewing the membership. And so it's something that you guys will have to renew on a year-to-year basis unless you.
How much is that, Robbie?
So the proposed membership, keep in mind, this is based off of per capita. So the total estimated general membership dues for 25-26 fiscal year is $1,318.
Now, we saved,
That's it?
we
Yes, sir.
saved quite a bit of money when we did that. How much was it? You
So
know?
we got that development ordinance review done, I want to say for $3,500. with the cost of membership.
That sounds
versus-
right.
Yeah, versus $6,000 without membership.
So we get it, okay.
It's a good deal to have. I mean,
You are a representative there, and I'm the official member, is that correct, with the PTRC?
correct. So they send all of the stuff to me. I'm more than, they've invited me to go to meetings and stuff, and they have separate meetings. They have delegates, which you are,
Right.
You're the delegate, and so they have meetings for delegates and mayors. And then they
Thanks
have
to the
meetings
council
for-
members.
Correct, yeah, they have them for council members, and so it's all in Kernersville. It's not far. I haven't been yet, but look to
They
go
have
one day.
meetings for staff.
They have,
Is that a closed door, or can anybody audit those?
I believe anybody.
I
can
think
go.
anybody can go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wondered if
I
it was
showed
a
up-
secret handshake
No,
involved
no,
getting in or anything.
I haven't been yet, but I've heard it's nice. I just haven't.
I showed up for a board meeting, not realizing exactly what I was doing. They invited me in.
It's
punch in
nice.
it for-
Are we getting any
Yeah,
information out
you're
of it?
right.
Absolutely. Well, I
I don't care if they meet out in the middle of the field.
so the two things that I'll add, at being members, you get two things. One, they have attorneys on staff that give us legislative updates. I don't know if you recall Chuck letting us know about this new downzoning Senate bill that passed. PTRC emailed me about the same time Chuck did. So that's something that they provide to their members, are these legislative updates.
Very good.
A second thing that's a big deal is you get a very reduced rate on services. Services that they provide, planning and zoning, stuff like that, special projects, you get a reduced rate.
Okay.
So,
I'm really surprised it's only $1,300. I thought it was north of two, but
what was it last
Bill
year?
right there.
Last year it was
Last year was
1,304. So it went up, yeah.
But when you and I first
$14.
came, Derek, I remember it being like 1,900 and so, you're right. So it has come down from,
So bottom line, everything we're
Well-
signed up for, we're getting value out of. We don't have something sitting out there that's just sitting out there.
Yeah,
We're not-
it's
The
yeah.
town's getting value.
I agree. I would say this in the league or two memberships that Ms. Martin, if you guys remember, has been pushing this since 2021. So she's always said it's more than a breakfast club. So I will back her on that 100%. It is.
Right.
it's
Well, the way it
important.
was positioned to us,
Originally.
several years back was, what did I call it?
Lunch of the, no,
The turkey lunch supper club?
turkey lunch
Well, that's the way it was basically told to us.
It's very helpful. And I'll say all the folks over there are super helpful. And if I have planning and zoning questions, I reach out to
No,
them.
I mean, I had no idea the true scope of work
Yeah.
that they offer and just how well staffed they are. I
Yeah.
didn't know until you just shared that they actually have attorneys.
They do.
On staff, so,
And it's just, we're fortunate that it's not far. The fact that it's in Kernersville is even better. So,
yeah.
so that's good.
Right.
That's good.
No, I've heard good things.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, Robbie, Kim's added an individual line item for this under legal and professional services.
I do have that line item there. However, I was, because we have paid, but we're gonna have them paid off by this fiscal year for that code, for
yeah,
the
if they'll send us a new update, a revised,
invoice.
Invoice for the
and then I
correct
can
amount,
pay
we
that.
will.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I do use that line item, because you notice that one is blank down there at the bottom.
Yes, ma'am.
However, this year, in the 11,956 that you see, that we've done fiscal year to date for, that is, the 1304 is included in that 11,900 that we've got on that line item so far for this year. And, because you asked me what was included in that 11,956. That has our School of Government Foundation membership fees, our North Carolina Association of Municipal Clerks.
How much?
I'm sorry, the School of Government Foundation's $955. And then we have the North Carolina Association, for the league, membership is $90. That's yours.
that's
The clerk-
mine.
that's the clerk fees. And then we also have another North Carolina Association of Municipal Clerks for $650. Then the 1304 from the Piedmont Triad Regional that we just discussed. Our annual membership league, for fiscal year 25 was $7,679.
So the league is the biggie.
Yeah,
the
that's the big daddy. And then
Okay.
the others that we have the, Civic Plus, which is that,
Civic Plus is our development ordinance
Yes,
host for
thank
now.
you.
Well, now, keep in mind, that's going to end as soon as you guys get the development ordinance up to date and we give it to American Legal. American Legal Publishing is our new host, and so they're ready to start hosting that, so.
That's $450. That one is.
Okay.
Is that a year or just a one-time?
That's each year. That's
So
annual.
we paid it already?
Yes, we've paid it for 5/1/24. It will expire 5/1/25.
But we're not using it?
We are
No,
still
we are
using it,
now
yeah.
until
Oh,
this one
okay,
is
so-
completed.
Correct.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
The Secretary of State, that was for Robbie's renewal for his notary. And then we had, I'm sorry, no, it wasn't. That
It
was
was.
for your application
Yeah.
for the notary, my bad. And then your renewal was $10. And the ASCAP fees, we pay that every year. That was $445. The North Carolina Government Finance Officer membership dues for myself is $100. And then the International Institute of Municipality annual fee is $220.
Where does, your bond go? Does that not come out of
That's
this?
under the insurance,
Okay, that makes sense.
Travelers.
yes.
All right,
Okay, so I moved that to 12.5, but if we don't renew the Civic, you know, we make an,
So we won't renew the Civic, but American Legal Publishing will take its place.
and then we don't know if the league
that's very helpful.
fees did go up.
So what are we on? Office equipment purchase and repair for 12?
Correct, and just keep in mind that, and that is correct, and that brings me to this, our contract with Gray and Creech is set to expire this year, so we're gonna have to renegotiate a new contract with either Gray and Creech or go out for bids, but just keep that in mind, that's,
How is the copier? We still satisfied with the equipment?
yeah, it's good, it's had a few problems, but we call them, they come fix it. One problem took a little bit to fix, but it's good. We're fortunate that we've got smaller printers at each desk, at my desk, Kim's desk, Dale's desk, and Pris's desk. So that helps us if the big copier's down. It's just not good when, we need to do large-scale printing, so.
So we haven't spent anything this year
On what?
on,
Office equipment.
yeah,
That's for purchase and repair. That's,
So we
the
hadn't had any-
contract covers, we don't have to pay for grant, because we're in that,
the-
contract with them for that repair.
Is that under rental somewhere? Where is that in?
That's under the housekeeping, office supplies and software.
Okay, thank you.
Those- Yeah.
so I'm a little,
I think we can lower this.
Lower what, the office equipment repairs?
I think we can lower it to 8.
Okay.
I mean, y'all's PCs are, you know, they're not more than what, 2 years old?
I would say that Miss Martin's is the oldest. It's got some age on it. It's older than hers. I'm sorry. It predates her employment with the town.
No, I'm sure she'll take the compliment.
It's okay.
Oh, she's watching.
It predates her employment with the town. It's got some files on it, but that's not a computer that I want to get rid of anytime soon because it's got a lot of information on it. That's our,
But that information should be backed up.
it is
in
backed up on the server. It is.
Okay.
It is. You're correct. All that's backed up. That computer has everything pre-shared drive as well, so.
The point is you do not anticipate replacing any of the laptops.
I don't foresee that being an issue anytime soon. I think we're good. Everybody's laptops needs to be working good. Nobody's.
What operating system are we using?
So we're using Windows, and I think we're on Windows 10.
10.
But now Kim's computer is Windows 11 because it was purchased last year, but everybody else is Windows 10.
Kim, what'd you base that 12 off of?
The 12,000? Well, I use it because I never know
What could break.
What could break, you know, for the office, you know, especially like, you know, this system that we have.
How about we cut it in half?
Well,
Yeah, I
that's a
agree.
good point.
Wait a minute, so this system here.
That's a
is
good
in that?
point.
It would be a
that-
part of the
in-
office
in-
repair
in
and
that bucket?
equipment, yeah.
So I'm not saying to not cut it in half. That's not a bad idea, but that does bring up a good point. This system is giving us, if you'll notice, we're getting an error message right now. This system is getting aged. The microphones have got age on them.
Is that the repair of this would fall in there?
Yes,
It could.
it would fall under the office equipment purposes.
I don't want to change it, quite frankly. I want this working.
It doesn't, yeah, exactly. That projector no longer works, and it won't, since we've had a software update, the hardware of that projector won't match up with the software of the system.
Yeah, I don't want to change it. Let's leave it at 12. I mean, if we don't need it, great.
It can
but-
be somewhere
Or
else.
let's go ahead and What is it this year?
12?
I can pull it up.
Give me 1 second.
That's okay. I got it.
Maybe,
It's on the, I've got it on the website.
you got it.
The projector's not working,
Yes, sir, that's correct.
and it's,
I know every meeting we have issues with this thing. Every single meeting
It
almost.
it gets worse and worse. I will
Yeah.
call audio and visual to come out here, and I'll call TCS.
so
And
y'all
this is
saying
just
that
put in
we
20?
need a new system, or is this system not repairable?
I don't know that we need a new system, but it needs something. There's an encoding machine that's in here that tells it, apparently YouTube updates its side, and our system is hardware, so it doesn't match with the ever-growing demand of YouTube. I'm not a tech person when it comes to streaming, but when I do get those people out here, they just kind of talk about, this system's old, and I said, well, I believe it's younger than COVID, and they said, in technical years, that's old. I said, okay.
Well, I don't think
It, is
do anything with this.
I'm just asking here, is it possible to contact that company and see if they, actors rep, they could assist us somehow?
That company of that projector, I don't know who that is. I'd have to look and see. It was
Like
installed
NEC.
by Audio Visual, and so that's who I've called out here to take a look at it.
I know,
That's
but let's,
new?
That's not new. That was put in, I believe, when the building was.
I was gonna
Right.
say, I thought that was,
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm talking about everything else. I'm sorry. If we're honing in on the projector, it's much older than anything else.
They're
I
talking
thought you
about-
just said
they're
it
talking
didn't
about
work.
items that we put in since we've been here,
Correct.
and they're calling that old.
Yes.
I mean, I understand that it is, as far as their terms of new things coming
Yeah,
out, but
yeah.
it ought to work.
I agree with you. I
What
agree.
kind of, do we have any warranty on any of that stuff?
I don't know. I'd have to take a look. I would assume, I don't know. It's a good question. I look at it like this. I don't have the same cell phone that I had in 2020, so I know that technology updates faster than you can imagine. I'm not saying that it can't be fixed. I'm just saying we continue to have problems. I will call TCS and Audiovisual to come out here and work on it. It will Band-Aid it. It will work until the next town council meeting, and then it will go out. If you remember our February meeting, the stream stopped mid-audit
Right.
presentation.
So what do you say?
What am I saying?
What do you say?
I'm
Did
saying,
you say we need a new system?
I don't think we need a new system, but there needs to be some money there
We
to
gotta
get
get
it
some
fixed.
software updated.
Hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we just leave it like it is, and then y'all find out what you think we might need to
Yeah,
spend?
that's fine.
okay.
Because we got 2 more months before we really finalize it.
Correct.
Mr. Wagner, in your opinion, do we need a new projector?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, well, then, we-
All I'm suggesting is before we give up on it, this is what I do when I have these kind of troubles. I contact the people that made it if they're available, and either two things happen, they're either real helpful or I'm not able to get in touch with them.
Gotcha.
And,
Yeah, I'll be
it
glad
tends to
to.
be black or white, one or the other with it, so.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it. It's got some age on it.
Derek, to answer your question, it was $10,000 in this fiscal year budget.
I do favor having one that works.
Oh, I agree. And people miss it. I mean, there's folks that will ask why it's not on, and it just doesn't work. If you turn it on, it's a blue screen. The only way I found it to work is there's a outlet over here that if you plug your laptop into it, it will come on, but the picture's distorted. So,
Okay.
You still, we're still dealing with the people who put the system in.
oh yeah. This system, and I think they put that in as well. I think that's how you guys knew
No,
who
I'm
to get in
talking
touch
about the
with.
system that's been
Yeah.
here since, that we had to put in.
I believe it's called Audio Visual. Is that the
Yeah.
name of it?
Correct.
Got
Yeah.
it, yeah. I mean,
That's who I deal with. If I call TCS, they tell me it's not a IT problem to call the installers. That's when I reach out to them. The only time that TCS has been able to help us is they've updated our laptop here to the most up-to-date software, which should match up with what's going on in there, but I don't know.
yeah, well, we need, because we've already started putting this online and all this. We've got to-
Yeah, it's,
That's the thing about when you start doing things. You gotta keep it up.
that's right,
Anything you build or whatever.
that's right.
And then, there we go. So-
I'll be glad to, I can reach out. I've got a contact there, as long as he's still there. from
So we're gonna leave that at 12,000 then?
Yeah, that's something to keep
Okay.
in mind, fellas, when you do things, it's kinda like the basketball court and things. You have upkeep,
Could be the water system
later
too.
on. Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know, we always gotta keep in mind, anything we do.
Yeah.
There's gonna be something, I mean, we put this in since we've been here. And already you gotta
In
spend
5
money.
years.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, you gotta keep that in mind, any projects we take on are gonna have repairs. And, we don't tax anybody right now, so.
The computers go bad here, seems like a pretty fast clip over the years. It's been my experience.
All right,
Look, you see
Yeah,
it's what's
and
shown on the
it-
town seal.
And kind of to that same note, it looks like we spent roughly $4,000 on this in the last 3 years. So,
yeah.
you know, we're certainly,
Well, and.
we
and I
certainly have
was-
a bend it until it breaks mentality, which I think is just fine. But
Well, I just remember, I know how much this system costs, and I wasn't sure.
I don't think we know what the problem is. The problem
Right.
could be, you know,
Could be a ground. I mean, it could really be simple.
We can find out in the next month, can we?
So so this week, if not this week, early next week, I'm gonna reach out to the folks that installed this system. We keep looking at the projector. I can't promise you they installed the projector. That projector is 15 years old. Everything else is 5 years old.
Well, it's probably better than anything that's in there. If you
It
just
doesn't
get
work.
hooked up right.
So it's not working. So if, I will reach out to them and get them to come out, I'll explain to them the problems that we keep having, this encoder error. I'll explain that the projector doesn't work. We've talked about it in the past, but again, it was a Band-Aid that got us fixed. I said, I just need it fixed for the next town council meeting. And so we'll see what we can figure out. So it's,
You're going to the installer.
to the installer, correct?
Okay.
Yes, they were the company that you all hired in 2020,
It
2021.
was 2020,
I remember.
So we done it.
yes.
You done it. It's before I got here, but I'll be glad to help out with it.
Rigsby not here, it's his fault.
I think it was, wasn't it?
What's helpful, it's.
Oh, yeah,
have it
it's
on
his
YouTube.
fault.
That's what it gets for not showing
Okay,
up.
But everything-
let's move on.
after all that discussion, everything's working right now?
It says that your encoder is sending data faster than real time, and that's telling me that our encoder needs to be lowered so that YouTube can get the information better. There's an error message, if you'll see, there's an error message. I think it's working. After meetings like this, the only thing I can do is, after the meeting's done, go back to my office and watch it.
Yeah.
And it should be there. Sometimes it doesn't. It hasn't dropped stream altogether. If you see that screen go black, then you know it's dropped. It did that at the last meeting. So I try to prevent it, but there's only so much I can do on this end.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Next item.
Okay, the housekeeping, office supplies and software, that's a conglomeration of a lot of things for town hall. That's where our cleaning lady, she is in there for each month. And all of our office supplies and software items, anything to do with office, anything to do with town hall, housekeeping or office supplies.
Does that have anything to do with our website?
No.
Fellas, I try to avoid computers. I find life's better that way, but sometimes I have to use one too. But shouldn't our software be on the line with the office equipment? Hardware and software, don't they go together?
It's the same, it's one and the same. Honestly, the IRS would say it's okay. I'll tell you that.
Well, they,
Where are we at with that?
The housekeeping.
Just,
He's saying for under office equipment purchase and repair.
Yes.
See, that would be for purchasing
Okay.
equipment or something like that.
Gotcha.
if you're trying to nail down how much this town spends on computers and software over time, it's just listed in so many places, I'm not sure you could do that without getting all the invoices in your hand and going through them. Just
Well,
the way it is, I guess.
If you purchased a computer, we would take that of office equipment purchase, and then we typically don't have to buy software. It's not like it was back in the day, but it's
That's
good
for
to
our
have.
Zoom, our Adobe, Microsoft. Those are things that we have subscriptions to that we must have in order to operate here at Town Hall.
That's another thing that has quit working partially is Zoom. So I'll add that in there while we're talking about it.
And that is software.
I'm just making an observation here.
Zoom's
I can live with it.
It's
we're
on
not
right
Zooming.
now.
Has to do with this.
So Zoom is on, it's recording us, it's recording this meeting, it's recording audio, but that's it, there's no video. It won't connect to our cameras anymore. This happened, they fixed it, then it quit working again.
Did I hear on the news the other day that Zoom was being superseded by something or ruled obsolete and was no longer gonna be utilized? I heard something.
I would imagine that happened in the Skype, but not Zoom,
Right.
but I don't
Maybe,
know.
maybe it was
I use
Skype
Zoom
then.
a lot, yeah.
But like right now, if you'll notice, you'll see the town seal, that should be the same video that's on YouTube, but it's not.
Could we
Just-
not start using Teams?
We could
And do
absolutely
the
use
same, and
Teams.
that, and we already pay for that, so,
Do we need to continue to support Zoom, participate in Zoom? How is that?
that's what I was just stating. We could use Teams, which is in our Microsoft software
Yeah,
purchase.
yeah, we got that.
Can happen.
to-
I don't
to-
care who we do.
So I'll just
Yeah.
add, I'm perfectly in favor with that, and Ms. Martin would agree. She just sent me a text message asking if you guys would consider getting rid of Zoom.
Yes.
Yes,
What is the name of the other?
So Microsoft Teams is
Teams.
another,
TEAM?
Teams, correct.
It's-
So it's in, is that in 365 or?
It is, it's a Microsoft product. I'll
Okay.
just have to, the only thing, I'll be glad to go to Microsoft Teams. I'm gonna have to do a transition period though, because this tablet was set up specifically for Zoom. And it even has a button right here that says Zoom. So that's how it runs Zoom. Although it's not working, we're gonna have to, I have to get audio visual to change this to Microsoft Teams. I know it's an option because some municipalities use Teams. I'll add that Teams is free because we have Microsoft accounts. We wouldn't have to continue to pay a monthly fee for Zoom.
what are we doing here utilizing Zoom or Teams when we're streaming the meeting with YouTube?
So I guess the advantage of is that if you have Zoom and people are watching, they have the ability to participate in live time. They can speak.
You know, I'm,
But you know, we never,
that's
I
a,
mean, I think we've had it 3 times. I don't think and we've had it a little bit more when we had,
COVID.
COVID.
I,
Since then, we haven't.
I understand the need of it during COVID. I can see the benefits both ways for somebody that might not be able to leave their house for whatever reason, let's say sick, but on the other hand, it's hard for us to, being able to have audio or a phone call is not the same thing as being in a room and.
How about
attending.
pursuing that? Robbie, if you would just let us know.
Do what?
I think you open yourself up a little bit. I mean, you got people, you don't know who they are.
That just, yeah, I mean, I really, we met for many, many years without utilizing Zoom.
Well,
On rare occasions, for one reason or the other, we have put somebody on audio with a telephone call.
I've been called down because I left my mic on.
Yeah, that does happen. I mean, there's been a few instances where somebody has joined the meeting and they've accidentally, I don't have the ability to turn their microphone off until they've joined. And usually you don't realize they've joined until they've made a noise, and then I'll mute it as quick as I can, but they can unmute themselves at any point.
If we take a vote, I would vote to discontinue doing that, just for simplicity's sake.
Discontinue doing Zoom.
And Teams,
I don't
we're
agree.
offering citizens the opportunity to attend our meetings remotely, which has its pluses, but we're already streaming by YouTube, so they can watch the meeting.
Only if they have YouTube.
Well, don't they have to have internet to have the Zoom application and the Teams?
Yes.
So they already have internet and they already have the computer.
Well, the team
It
is,
seems like we're being redundant, I guess is what I'm getting to.
we are, but the team is already being paid for. Am I correct? Kim, the team is already being paid for. Am I correct?
Yes,
That's correct.
Okay, if it's being paid for, let's utilize it.
Well, that's
What's it gonna
fine,
hurt?
but
I agree, drop the Zoom. That's an expense.
Okay.
Team's an expense, but we're not using it.
Correct. We use it for meetings outside of the town council, but that's about it. So I agree. It's good to use.
I've used the team, and it seems to be as user-friendly as Zoom.
when somebody wants to communicate something to the town of Stokesdale, like our citizen did earlier, I advocate that they contact a council member, or contact all of us by email, or, that sort of thing. They can't speak to all of us at once unless it's a public meeting because of quorum issues, obviously. And then, I point out that we have not one, but two public comment periods. So this council, I don't know if a single council member has never said no to a meeting with a citizen or a communication with them. So I'm just trying to understand the problem we're solving by having an electronic meeting with citizens that aren't really utilizing it, participating anyway. But what if they did? If we had 35 or 40 people that wanted to speak, I just think that our meetings would possibly become muddled. That's all I'm saying.
We haven't experienced the problem so far. I think, I think if we drop the Zoom and pick up with the team, I think we'll be fine. Stay with the YouTube.
But why are we doing it?
For one thing, it's free. Free in terms that we're already spending the money for it. If we're gonna spend the money for it, let's utilize it.
I'll add, so as you guys know, on your agenda there, every agenda that I prepare, I put a Zoom link on there. I will try to, if you guys decide here tonight, transition that to Teams or nothing, whatever you guys decide. I can't promise that I can get this to work to Teams by the next meeting, so if not,
My suggestion is do what you can do,
Gotcha.
okay? If nothing changes between now and April,
it's okay.
we're fine.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay? We're trying to pursue some options, I think.
Yes,
If
you're
I'm-
right.
If I'm incorrect, fellas, correct me. But let's pursue some options. Let's see what the option might be with the team. And we may find it to be like sliced bread
That's right.
versus what we're using right now. So that's what I would suggest that we do, and the next thing I would suggest is we move on to the next item.
Postage is $1,652.51. If you look,
Thank you, Matt.
If you look, we've spent a little less than half of that so far this year. We never know how that may be.
Added $1 to that.
Okay, it's got a 5 at the end, but I know what you mean. Elections for this year, because we do that every other year. For fiscal year '24, we paid $4,173. That is.
Are we
why-
reimbursed any of that?
No.
No,
So that, we don't pay for elections that are not town council, like for instance, this last election that was held here. But the election that we do pay for is when the town is involved,
Oh,
and that's when it's
okay.
town council.
and this year will be.
But I will add this as a positive note. We did receive payment from the Board of Elections for cleaning services.
Good. All right. Next.
So are you guys good with that 5? Because I did highlight that, so I kind of cushioned that a little bit, because
You're what? You're $800 over or $700 over what we spent before?
Could go up too.
yes. I'm not-
It's gone
no.
up pretty significantly year over
Has it
election
really?
cycle over.
Okay.
What do you want to move it to?
5's good.
Oh, 5's good. Okay.
The insurance and bonding. Let me get this pulled up over here as well.
That number looks good to me, based on what we've done, unless you anticipate, we haven't really added anyone.
No. Our workers' comp is around $750,000, then $50,000, good grief, $750. Property, our liability did go up a little this year because, we added the equipment for the playground and things like that.
So how much is it?
$10,265.
Okay.
That's our liability. And my bond insurance did go up because I had to raise it, per the they make me do that,
And how much is that?
$376
Okay.
a year.
So we're still around 11,000,
Yes,
12,000.
but yes. And
Okay.
see, we've also got, for this year, when I redo that, there was something else I needed to add, because remember, something I did not add last year because it was not complete.
Yeah, the ball courts.
Yes.
So the good news
Something-
is,
yeah,
whatever when you file your insurance,
It's
and
grandfathered in.
it's grandfathered in, that's right. So for instance, this year, although there's a good chance the lights will be done this year, I
Yes.
feel very confident of that. If we were to do our insurance before those lights, then they're covered. You just don't start paying on them until the next year. So anything that once you set that policy, anything that you add to the town's property is grandfathered in, but then the next year, you just have to make sure to.
Okay, okay, so 13 sounds good. All right.
Loan and outdoor maintenance, is 43,000.
Do we anticipate any increase from lawn and maintenance?
Hunter,
He,
Hunter's, and I mean, I'm not sure if we're gonna,
excellence went up this year.
I don't think that's enough, 43.
I'm getting ready to read these.
It,
It's went up.
does this include the park in this number?
Just the last time that you guys accepted their proposal.
Okay, so they went up last year.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
When does their contract expire, Robbie?
That's my question
April.
too.
I sent it to everybody in an email. I just
Yeah,
felt
you
like-
did.
I know the answer. But I've asked the question again for a reason.
I'm gonna look, hold on one second.
Did you ask me to include what?
I want to make sure that I don't speak out of turn, Ms. Thacker. The mayor might get after me.
Okay, excellence lawn care.
Rolling with iron.
Are we paying $26,000 a year for lawn and outdoor maintenance for just the town hall or the entire town hall park complex?
And the park as well. It includes Hunter Enterprise and Excellence.
March 26.
Okay, I'm just clarifying because,
Remember, the 26,000 for this year is just 2/4 of Hunter Enterprise and then Excellence Lawn Care.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
it's
see
just
what
a
you're saying.
half- Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Half the year.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
No, that's my fault.
Okay.
I'm thinking about the.
So we're doing 26 this year, and you're proposing that we go to 43?
No. Remember, this is your actual, the 26,000 is your fiscal year actual number for this year, this fiscal year, to date. That's not.
To
going forward
date,
yet. Yes.
okay.
The Hunter's 12,000.
And to answer Mr. Foy's question, our current contract with Excellence Lawn Care is set to expire on March 31st, 2025.
March 31st, April.
So is this an agenda item next month to, what are we doing about that?
It hasn't been requested as an agenda item.
Well, I don't, this is not something I'm riding range on. How about Hunter Enterprises? Are we currently in the contract with them?
No.
No. We're not. So,
And they're 3,000, yeah, they're 12,000 a year, whoever said that earlier.
if we run out from underneath Hunter's contract again,
we did, so I'll just clarify here, so on February the 12th, I'd sent an email to council explaining the expired contracts and explaining contracts that will be expiring this year. The expired contract is Hunter Enterprise, that expired on 12/31/24. And then the contracts expiring this year are Excellence Lawn Care, which expires on March 31st. Then our cleaning services contract expires on April 30th. GFL Environmental expires on June the 20th.
Correct.
And Century Watch, which is, they oversee our burglar and fire monitoring here, that expires on July the 12th. Total Computer Solutions, IT Services expires on July 31st. And Grand Creek Office Systems expires on September the 25th.
has Excellence and Hunter been notified that their contract is expiring?
No.
Okay, I don't see how Ms. Thacker can pay the bill unless there's a contract amount approved by this board. So somehow we gotta solve this.
As I mentioned, and I'll say here, please note, town staff will continue to facilitate the implementation and maintenance of these contracts. Decisions regarding seeking bids, extension, renewals rest solely with town council. So what I'm getting at is, I've made everyone aware that these,
Oh, no, I'm not saying you didn't.
Yeah, yeah.
No, don't get that out of
I
this.
understand.
No, not at all. It just puzzles me why those businesses are not sending us a renewal or.
Understood.
Does that mean they want to stop or, so that puzzles me. I guess they're just busy working here and everywhere else and it slips by the wayside.
could be. I'll be glad to reach out to them and get info, but in order for that to go on an agenda and to actually happen, the council member has to approve it. So
I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna approve a blanket. At least 30 days, at least a month before any contract that comes up, you can go and put my name on it. At least a month, and if it's like 28, 27 days, do it 2 months. Go and put it on the agenda.
Gotcha.
That way we don't have no issue. You don't have to email nobody about it. I mean, you can email, but just, I'm giving you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Put that on there because we need to
Well,
do it. And
I'll-
I know you put it on.
Yeah.
Jimmy, would it be okay if he emailed you and said, hey, this is coming up, can you
Yeah,
confirm?
so I still want him to email
Yeah,
everybody,
yeah.
but you have my permit, just go on and do it. Just put it on there, that way we don't have to think, well, Jared's gonna do it, or Jimmy's gonna,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Cause I know you're stuck, because you're waiting for one of us to do it, so you
That's
don't have to do that anymore.
Well,
For the
I'll
next
add,
3 years.
a month is not long enough.
Oh, really?
It takes time to get
It's
bids.
really not.
Okay, 60 days. That enough?
I would like 3 months.
I still think he needs to confirm with you, Mr. Lander, just to
Well,
keep the
I just said
paperwork
that,
straight,
Tim.
yeah.
I'll be glad to confirm with you. Like I said, so last year, maybe even the year before that, you guys mentioned that you wanted an update contract index. Mason Winfrey has completed that for us, and that contract index is up to date. It's on our shared folder. It's accessible to anybody. That's why last month I wanted to send out these contracts to everybody, let you know when they're coming due. And like I mentioned, I'll be glad
All
to
right.
help with it. It's just,
And that's fine. We need to assign an owner. There needs to be ownership, I think, at the council level.
Well, that would be Mr. Rigsby, since he's not here.
Well, it would be Mr. Rigsby for lawn and outdoor maintenance.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Because property committee. I mean, when you sent that email out in February, I think I called you that day for GFL to schedule a
you
meeting.
did.
So, I mean, Jimmy and I are riding range on that one. But,
Yeah, we see that, you know, see, that's what happens a lot of times. You send an email out to 5 of us. Or just like, just like the email, you just did a great job of answering. I seen that, I didn't answer it, because, well, you answered it, and he answered it, you know.
You haven't done
People
anything.
can't, you know, and that's what I'm sure that's what happens sometimes.
Yeah. I'll say, I know there's times when you reach out to 5 people, then everybody thinks someone else is going to do it. I get it. I'm the same way. If you sent one to town staff, there's a time when we would probably say, oh, I thought you were going to do it. I thought you were going to do
Yeah,
it.
that's okay,
Yeah.
that's
Well-
okay, because we're not gonna have that anymore, because on this one, you can put 90 days, if y'all won't say 90 days, that's fine. You can put it on the agenda and stick my name on, just call me up and tell me whatever, and tell everybody else that you've done it, but, then you won't never have to worry if somebody don't look at the email, or nobody looks at the email. I mean, you agree? I mean, is that okay?
No, I think that's fine. That just, so we're 90 days out from our garbage. We're less than 90 days for janitorial services, less than 90 days for lawn care. And, we're in the negatives on athletic field maintenance. So,
Put every one of them on the agenda.
well, I'll be glad to. We don't have bids yet, and the meeting's next Thursday, so I'll be glad to do it. I just don't know that I can get bids in less than a week, but I'll
We
try.
can still talk about it.
Oh, yeah, you're more than welcome to talk about it, absolutely.
GFL's bid.
You do. That is correct. That is correct.
I mean, you can put them on, if we don't say anything, but hey, this is up,
Yeah.
we need to.
Yeah, I'll be glad to put them on the agenda for next Thursday.
Okay, since I
don't really want bids on some of them, I just, you know, that we gonna renew.
Since I know him, I volunteered to call Mr. Hunter. If somebody would volunteer to call the Excelsior Lawn Service, so they get immediate word that we need them to, update the contract, that'll get us in the door for next month's meeting on those two, will it not?
As long as they respond.
Next week's meeting.
Next week's.
You're correct. We're into March already. Forgive me. Next week's meeting.
And don't forget your clocks go forward this weekend too.
Now, I'm just saying, if that's to put it on, I'm not trying to handle the property committee's job or anything like that. I'm just saying, if you need to put that on the agenda,
Understood.
that
Just for discussion.
you can do it for me for discussion. I'm not trying to get in nobody's way.
I think that would be great, and I say this because if you guys allow me to do this, and I would still reach out to you. I don't like putting stuff on the agenda without getting you guys notice
understand.
first. I would reach out to you and put it on there 3 months in advance, and then at that meeting, you guys could give me the authority to start getting bids for that service, if that's what you want to do, or reach out for you're gonna have to get a bid regardless, whether it's renewal for your current contractor or bids for a new contractor. You're getting bids regardless.
Could you please reach out to Excellence Lawn Care to see if he would do a 2-year renew at the same current price?
Yeah.
For the same scope of work?
Yes. Yeah, I think, let's see, he already incorporated the basketball and pickleball in his last one.
He has, that was the,
That was the
Yeah.
Yep.
part of it, yeah. Trying to, yeah.
Dude, I would actually love to, well, there, I ain't gonna say, I'd say I'd love to do it for 3 years. Let's see, how long we got left? I'd love to put it to bed. Because he's done a good job. And we've got, you know, we can always, if something changes.
Okay. I'll reach out to him tomorrow.
Okay,
That's good.
can we move it?
Highlighted that item, if that contract stays the same with Excellence and stays the same with Hunter, that's $42,000 a year that we pay, so we're,
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
okay. But I've highlighted it on for the next month, so.
Perfect.
Okay, town hall and electricity, 15,000.
Good.
There is your solid waste disposal, which matches your revenue from the
Thank you.
beginning. Internet and phone. Where do we stand on this?
So I did get an update last week. AirSpring is, of course, the company that we're under contract with to put AT&T fiber optic internet cable into the town hall. That has finally made its way into the building. They've got it installed from Angel Pardue Road under some underground conduit into the building. Got an update from AirSpring that they were going to be here on Friday of last week to essentially take it from this conduit and hook it into their board. It didn't happen on Friday. I reached out on Monday, haven't got a response back. We're closer than we've ever been. It's in the building. It's just getting them to hook it up. It is, I have stayed on them. AirSpring, I will be glad if you'll remember AirSpring.
Yeah, thank you for all your hard work on that.
You're welcome.
Tim,
Yes.
the lights, that 15, are you going off what we're doing this year? You know, they had a pretty big increase. And they're talking about another one, so I don't know.
Yes, well,
Is that what we're gonna spend this year, you think? It's 15?
So I
I
think it's a good number because we've already gone through this fiscal year in terms of summer months. If you annualize that, I think you're at like 15.6 or something. But I don't think we'll be trying to air condition the building during the heat, not much more.
Yeah, okay. I just know that it's quite an increase. I think they got another one coming, or trying to. Just like our
I mean,
great.
that in
building.
itself is a good point, the rate increase.
It is, and looking back at the last couple years as well, fiscal year '23 was 10.9, fiscal year '24 was 13.
If I may, y'all might not like this idea, but in past years, we used to shut off the heating units for this space here and periodically, depending if we didn't have a meeting coming up for as long as a week, these two units would be cut off, winter or the summer, and simply turn back on the day before whatever next meeting was coming up. And that is something I advocated for. Somewhere along the way, there was some complaining from the staff because they had to come over and turn it on, not this current staff, but previous staff. And then I recall a previous mayor put a notice on the thermostat that per the office of the mayor, it was ordered to be left on. And there was never a vote of council regarding this or the management thereof.
Well, he was a mayor.
It's my belief that, you know, we could perhaps realize some savings here if we would practice a little bit more economical control of this space. And one of the things that it'll get into is we have so many HOAs meetings here, so I'm not sure if that's practical anymore. But on the other hand, so often we're cooling and heating this space and nobody's using it. You know, a private business would not do this. So if anybody can think of a way to manage that better, I'm all for it.
I try to keep it set relatively low so we're able to access them using those two. So in the summertime, I bump it up, wintertime, bump it down. But I know I try my best. But like you say, HOA meetings, and it just seems like there's people in here at least once a week.
I don't think you're gonna help yourself cutting it off, but you could easily raise the temperature during the summer months and lower it during the winter months that we're not gonna use it. And
No problem.
it won't take so much to heat it back up or to cool it back down.
That's no problem.
But, you know, I mean, that's, for what it's worth, it's what I do with a place I'm not in very often.
Well, I pretty much give up on trying to conserve any power in this space, but I just, I think the opportunity's there. If Mr. Wagner has been doing this and we still have a bill this high, then we need to thank Mr. Wagner, because otherwise it would be higher than it actually is.
Well, and I'll add, so these aren't smart, these two in particular, we have 6 thermostats total. 4 are smart, 2 are not. Those 4 smart thermostats, I'm able to set time zones on, and so the temperature changes at night when nobody's here, and then goes back.
Where are those 4 thermostats?
There's one in the,
You said, it sounds like a council.
They're in the office they're in the office area.
Correct.
Administrative area.
correct, that's right.
Any idea what the cost of a thermostat is?
We replaced one because the one outside of my office had a malfunction, and I remember replacing it, but I don't remember what the cost was.
Worth pursuing. I mean, that's a nominal expense. It should be.
I would think it would,
Mr. Jones could almost do that. I could,
that might be something to look into.
They are linked to our Honeywell system, it's just they don't have a schedule, I don't know why.
it's all in Tim, you can correct me here, but if I'm not mistaken, it's all in the box.
Correct, it is, that's
So,
right.
you
It's
know, once
just
you
that
buy
box
that,
plugs
once you
in.
buy that, you're good to go.
I think you would be correct, Mayor. That's,
We can look into that.
Okay, let's move along, please. I
Okay,
got a date.
I would like to drop the security and alarm down to 1,500 actually.
I agree.
Yes.
I'd like to add an item. I'd like to add a line item, the web design.
You would like to add a line item to the web design?
No, I'd like to drop the web design down to its own item.
Gotcha.
So,
Go ahead. Mr. Foy.
I think the intent of your request is to put a line item there for the website redesign project.
Yes, correct, I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm sorry, yes.
So, what if for, under legal and professional services, because this will be a professional service, we added a line item that just said website redesign project? It can say website redesign project in the amount of $10,000. I don't think it'll be that much.
No, hopefully not to initially set it up.
just so that I've said it again,
Website redesign.
the way we had I had Gov Office with a proposal in front of council when the current provider was hired. They were basically the same price. Council chose at the last minute to vote for a vendor that was affiliated with one of our council members, I believe, and we went down that path. I believe that it would be prudent to at least get one estimate from govoffice.com, and there's another one that also caters to municipalities. If you'll scroll.
Mr. Wagner is in the process of doing just that, Mr. Jones.
Yeah. If I may, every time that I've gotten involved in pricing this out and talking to other towns, what they're using and what have you, those that specialize in municipalities have been very competitive. But beyond that, if we're doing business with an individual and an individual company, we don't have much redundancy, whereas we have that with a larger company.
So
that's
there's web
specialized.
hosting and then there's web design.
Exactly.
I think what you're referring to may be the hosting part of it.
No, I'm referring to web design. I think GovOffice was doing their own hosting at the time. I remember a number of $3,500. They were both right in the same ballpark.
I don't think.
I think if you looked at the
GovOffice-
records, I would have voted against the current one because of my belief at the time. But it's all good, and I'm not saying that an individual couldn't handle this, but just to have the necessary payment portals and security and this and that and the other, these companies that specialize in working for municipalities are used to dealing with the expectations and requirements of same.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea.
In regard to this, if we need to, I volunteer, and Mr. Wagner, of course, would necessarily be involved, but I volunteer to do any kind of screening we might need to do for the website. I have some things in mind, but I'm not knowledgeable enough to make any kind of a final decision on it, but I'll be more than happy to make my time available so that we can screen whomever.
The one we have is certainly some sort of cumbersome to navigate sometimes, or so it seems. But is it functioning so far as capacity goes and speed? I mean, this is something we're the mayor's interested in looking at, and I'll certainly go along with an examination of it, but what we're using is not failing, right?
Correct, yeah. The website that we're currently using is not failing, it's not crashing. We haven't had any problems like that.
It's just not as friendly as it could be.
Correct.
It's just- I mean, with some
Okay,
simple
well, that's-
changes.
That's what I thought, but I don't.
Yeah, simple
get on it
changes.
much.
I think everyone would be better satisfied. And it represents us. I mean, it really does.
So what about adding a line item for website redesign for $10,000?
6101.
Can I,
What do you want to do?
can I just, if we're not gonna have the Piedmont Triad Regional Council, because I do remember I do have that number in membership and dues, that 1318,
Okay,
can I change that line item? Because we're gonna have that.
I don't have a
finished
problem with that.
and paid out, right, by
It'll
this
be-
fiscal year?
yeah, it'll be
Should
done this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can just put it right there.
I think
for
that's a great suggestion.
Website design?
Well,
Ten-
website redesign project.
Yeah, $10,000.
Okay.
That way, once it's redesigned, the project is completed for a time being.
Website redesign. Okay. What'd you say? I think-
Project.
Project. 10,000?
Yes.
And I do want to track that cost separate than just the web hosting that we have today.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So that redesign will be a expensive cost up front, and then hosting is something that'll be paid annually thereafter.
Let me back up just a minute. You wanted to change the IT security and web design from $10,300 to $1,500, is that correct?
No,
Did
that
I-
was the security and alarm.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I got you.
Yes,
And our contract with them comes up.
it does come up. I think it still cushions, because when I look back at the past couple of years, we paid $1,272 in fiscal year '23, and then in '24 was $1,176. I still think 15 is
Okay.
still
Yeah,
cushioned and covered.
that's good.
So
So what do you leave for IT? What is IT security? How much is that?
that is the $676 that we pay. However, that is up for renewal as well in September,
July 31st.
July, excuse me.
We pay $676 a month?
Yes, that's for, monitoring and, anything, and that also includes, let me get back over.
I will add, that is a higher monthly cost. However, Mr. Rigsby was able to work with TCS to get us a higher monthly premium without, that gets us unlimited calls, I guess you'd say. Used to, we would call every time we call them, there was a fee. Now, we just call them and they just do it, and it's lumped into a monthly fee. And it's
Now,
very helpful. I mean, we use.
What else do they do for us other than monitor our security system?
So I'm talking about IT. So,
Right.
So IT, they are our IT folks. They
Right.
update our computers. They help us with email trouble. They help us with any computer-related problem.
So the $600 is for them.
Correct.
And Revise LLC,
Who is our website host?
yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
That also includes that in there as well.
Okay.
Okay.
The security is done by Century Watch, but that company's been bought out by Pi Barker. So if we continue on.
Is it a
with them-
separate item, or how do we code that?
It is a separate item.
Security and alarm? Mm-hmm. I got you. Okay. I'm with you.
Should bought our windows.
I think it's my, I can't get into my Microsoft.
Okay,
Okay, next, excuse me. For
Annual.
the annual audit, I did add the line item of 10-2, everything.
That's fine.
Make sure I get it. I do have for 12,000 for that, for this year, for Miss Crawford. Randolph, for Miss Randolph. And then for the legal attorney, I have that for 25,000. As you see, we've spent $9,800 for our attorney so far this fiscal year. That does not include this month, which we just got that email. And, yeah, just received that email for this month.
the $9,800 for the year,
So
No,
far.
that's, yes, so far, yes.
Thus far.
And
it's like a week over in Summerfield.
Thank the Lord we're not.
We'll change meetings.
I think 25 is way too high, but that's just me.
We never know.
Never know what we might get into.
Yeah, I mean, we never know what's gonna,
Yeah, no,
I mean, that's not much. I mean, what Derek said,
I mean, if somebody sues us, but I can't, I mean, I don't see us pursuing anything to that degree.
you never know.
Well, you're right.
I don't see how it can be lower, given the cost, the legal cost for most any event.
right.
2,300.
All right.
okay, 9, 10,
Better
11.
to have
So
it
we
there
just
than-
received our bill for.
I'm not suggesting lowering it, if that's what you are saying.
Oh, no, we're not talking.
That's fine. I'll go with whatever you think. Let's move along. Down to payroll expenses.
Yes. Okay, and I'm just gonna go down to the bottom of this one, if you guys don't mind.
I have no problem with that.
Until, just to say, the dental insurance, the vision insurance, and short-term disability insurance, we received an email stating that the league, there will no longer be an option through the league for the dental insurance, vision insurance, or short-term disability insurance. And that is why I have that highlighted, because we are gonna have to see what happens here. And that ends on June 30th, excuse me.
But I've got good news. So
Okay, great.
You're telling us we have to find new coverage for those three items?
we do. That is correct. So I got an email last Monday from the League of Municipalities that they're ending their health benefits trust. Basically, the League of Municipalities takes employees from, I want to say 50 municipalities throughout the state. They put us in a pool, and they use that to get good insurance rates for those municipalities that use them. We use them for dental, vision, and short-term disability. Some municipalities use them for that, plus health, as well as retirement. So it's a big deal that they're closing this down. It was a shock. We were given notice again on February, so I reached out to them. It was an email that was sent to everybody, so I reached out and asked them if that affects us directly, and they confirmed last Friday or Thursday that it does affect us directly. Good news is the league has selected a transition company called the Hilb Group. I've had 2 meetings with them yesterday at 10 o'clock and today at 10 o'clock. And the league has basically given them the green light to take this same pool of people and oversee it with no change. Prices may increase if people choose to get out of the pool. So if people lose faith in this new company and they pull out, then prices will go up. The good news is we're not bound to anything. I've just asked for proposals. So I also intend to reach out to our health insurance broker to ask for proposals there as well. So I'm working on getting proposals for this. And then I got another inquiry yesterday from another company that is aware that the league is no longer offering insurance. So we're working on it, and I'm working on getting quotes. So that's what I've been working on the last 2 days.
Thank you, Robbie.
If year to date, we're at 726 on, let's just pick it, dental insurance. If we're at 726 right now and you're proposing 495, that's not gonna get it.
I understand. You're gonna
Okay,
have a budget
so
amendment for
you're
that.
looking at 1,000, you're looking at 250 and probably 350. It's my guess.
And you're gonna, yes, you're gonna receive a budget amendment for that.
Well, I thought we talked about you,
Just moving
in the next meeting, that you were gonna have it written out.
Not a
Okay,
budget
And,
amendment.
all right.
okay,
My apologies. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
You're correct. Not an amendment.
Next meeting, okay.
The amendment's gonna be for the solid waste line item. I'm sorry. Okay.
okay.
Okay. Down to public safety. I have Stokesdale Elementary for 1,000, fire inspections and investigation, 10,000. Guilford County Animal Control, 20,635. That could be subject to change as well. That
That's a-
animal,
That's another contract that's
yeah,
coming
that's
up.
another contract that's coming up.
When will we know?
Let's see,
Robbie's looking.
yeah. Hold on.
And how long did they give us the last time? Do we know?
I'll tell, yeah, so I'll say they have a new animal services director who was so helpful.
I might get the bills on time.
Mr. Ortega?
Yes,
He is.
He is good.
he's very
is
good.
good.
He's very good. He-
Forsyth County's probably gonna steal him if we're not careful.
Forsyth County just got in some trouble with their animal
Yes,
shelter.
they do.
Let's see here, so I'm gonna go to our animal services contract. This is our most recent contract. This is good through I'm sorry, we're good, through June 30th, 2026. So this was signed this year.
Very good.
We're good.
On the animal shelter.
Yep.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If year-to-date, we're at 8,300, and we've got 3 months left?
They're behind on
Oh, okay,
billing.
okay,
Yes, we
all
might
right.
get that last quarter
All
in by
right.
December.
So this may be 6 months and not,
Yes.
okay, I got
They
you.
are behind on, they stay behind on billing.
So 20 is a good
Yes.
number.
Yes.
All right.
And I think that mirrors the annual interlocal agreement figure.
Yeah, that amount is, $19,808.
Yes.
There's another reason we ought to have sales tax. Park investment?
That is going to, mirror your, up at the top, at the revenue for the grants. Those will mirror, as Derek said earlier, I will remove, we'll only have 41,000 there at the next meeting. And that's gonna just be our, remaining of the ARPA funds. Cause it's the exact amount for the 175. If you look at your revenue, it's the exact amount.
Same
For
thing,
that.
same thing with the ARPA.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay,
So that will be changed as well.
all right. Contingency expenses?
Those have actually changed since I've made some changes through here. And if you guys will bear with me because my,
It's fine. There's some other things that
It'll
Yeah,
change
I-
again.
you'll
it's
look
gonna
at.
change
So
again,
whatever
yeah.
that number is,
okay,
We can discuss it next
it's
month.
gonna
We'll-
change
we'll-
again.
It just can't be more than what, 2%?
we'll eat into it because of the $10,000 addition to website design. But we've also taken some out, and then you're gonna look at the revenue side to see if we can.
That's correct.
Okay.
That is correct. And I'll have all my updates when we meet again, of course. 'Cause
April
this-
1st.
This thing is,
Just keep that in mind, April 1st is our next budget workshop, and that's also the same week as our town council meeting, so get ready for 2 meetings that week.
sorry,
April Fool's Day.
and that's really, ugh,
No. No,
I do that to
Oh,
myself.
I'm sorry, hold on, back up.
we're good.
It's the next month. Yes. Yeah, I knew there was 1 month where it was 2 in the same. It's not next month, though, it's the next month.
Oh,
Well, if we
good,
get this
May?
done by the next month,
We
maybe
could
we
wrap
could,
this thing up next week.
yeah.
Yeah. maybe.
Understood.
If it's in May, I'm good with that.
All right, so if we look at the next page, Kim, that's your shared overhead.
Yes,
What was the rate this year that you calculated?
44.9%.
To
And
what?
those numbers will change a little bit as well.
They will.
since I've
So
changed.
44.9%
Yes,
to the general, or what?
the water is 44.9. The general is 55.1. So the water expense of it is 44.9% of the budget that we just had a few minutes ago, but that's gonna change.
Also, what are y'all's thoughts on adding the stipend as a shareable expense line item?
Makes sense. It does make sense.
I mean, I think it
absolutely
does,
agree.
but
Yeah, I think so too.
I agree with that too.
What are you thinking, 50/50?
no, whatever the split is.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay,
The-
yeah,
the-
so
the
just add the
split
line
is
item.
based off the staff and their
Yeah.
hours,
Yeah,
estimated hours, percentage of time spent on each fund. per
Is that,
se.
that, I don't think that's a problem, is that, Kim, as far as
About split, I mean,
charging our stipend, 44%, right? 44% of our stipend to the water fund? It's a good idea.
it is a good idea.
I mean, it may be a good idea,
It's a good idea.
but I just don't know that,
Can you give me a little time to get used to the idea?
What's your thinking?
That's kind of what I was just asking. I wasn't directing Kim to do it. I was asking, what are y'all's thoughts? If you don't want to answer tonight and think about it, we talk about it next month, that's perfectly cool.
Fair enough.
I feel pretty strongly about it, though.
Makes sense.
Every time we talk about water in here,
yeah, but do we do it 44% of the time?
Do it whatever.
we do it based off the shared allocation.
Yeah.
We think on it, we can talk about it next month.
I mean, I'm just wanting to do it right. I mean, I know where you're coming from, so that's fine. That's fine.
Well, if we're doing the other at 44, it makes
I'll
sense
change
that
it.
a
That's gonna
stipend would
change
be
my-
at 44.
Well,
For
if
me,
you're
it does.
split, yeah, it's gonna change my percentage.
And
It's all coming out of the same pocket, really.
Well, not really.
Well,
Yeah,
That's the
really.
thing.
I'm just saying, if, if it was a business, and I had two businesses, and I was looking at it, as far as my salary, what I make goes, I don't spend 44% of my time on the water system. That's the only way I'm looking at it. Now, I may be looking at it wrong, so, I mean, what everybody, thinks, but I'm just, we said we'd knock it down, the next month, think about it.
I'd just like to reflect upon it if I may. I mean,
Okay, let's-
I've certainly spent some time on our water
Let's leave it
system.
open for
He
next,
spends a lot of time on it.
let's be sure we discuss it next month.
I would like to add, so while we're talking about that allocation, I noticed that the deputy clerk salary is 80-20. I would propose mirroring that with mine, the 65-35. The deputy clerk, quite frankly, spends more time with the water system than I do as a solid backup for Priscilla on water-related items. So,
Good idea.
something to consider. I'm not telling you, I'm just saying, I think it's something to think about.
It's a good idea.
If I can just give you the number real quick.
Well, just keep in mind, our water bills are a little on the high side compared across the state.
But
I
we're
know
not,
that- I
we're not
know-
changing that.
If I may,
I'm sorry.
can I finish?
Forgive me, certainly.
That would change it to 47.3% if we mirrored.
Yeah, that one I need to think on.
That's
Uh,
fine.
I'm gonna change it back, so I don't mess up over here.
I totally hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I would encourage you to look at it, holistically. Yes, right now, you're right, he is, because he's working on a special project with Priscilla. But,
Could not always be that way.
right, and I want to be real careful with it.
Understood, that's fine, that's okay, that's why I just.
I need my month to think
That's
about
okay.
it.
No problem. Just throwing it out there. Feel
Yeah.
free to think about it. And if we don't do it, that's okay.
No, that's good, that's good.
It's fine. I just thought about it when I saw the allocations. I thought, well, now's a good time ever to talk about it.
Thank you for that suggestion.
Yeah, no problem.
If I may, Mr. Mayor.
Sure.
I do from time to time get complaints from citizens about our water bills being a little higher than other places across the state. And I think there is a limit to how high we can raise what we're charging people for the monthly fee, plus the monthly service fee plus the water usage. And I think that we got to be careful about that in terms of at least appearing competitive with that in our citizens' eyes without having to spend an inordinate amount of time explaining to them when they
I think
come
that's a
down
good,
here, because at some point, we're gonna have to raise these water rates, because everything's going up, our expenses are going up. I don't know if it'd be this year, but at some point.
so, in terms of water rates, I would have already made the suggestion to raise it this year because our rates from Winston went up last year. But at the same time, we're having Hazen do a water rate study for us.
Do you know when the rate,
Go ahead.
when the rate study will be back?
What did Aaron say?
I don't want to speak on his behalf, but I for some reason, summer of this year is clicking in my mind. So, summer of this year,
Okay.
but I can follow up with him on that to know for sure. That's part of the AIA, is that correct?
I believe so.
I'm gonna tell you, it's better to do some small ones every year
I
than just
agree.
wait 3 or 4 years and then bam.
Well,
We've been on
I
the receiving
tend,
end of that.
I tend to,
Yeah, that's what, we haven't received a bill, and we have been on them, I have not paid a water bill since December.
Really?
And I've been on them, Chris has been on them, and we just got it, and it was for 60, I was looking for that email while you guys were talking. And it was for 60-some, here it is.
Priscilla stays on them. They, ever since all this issue happened with their system,
Yeah, they got hacked.
Yeah, they asked if they could read ours and bill us bi-monthly, and Priscilla said, absolutely not. You can bill us monthly because Gary needs the water meter amount for his monthly reports. They don't care that Winston doesn't read it every month. they want that number,
No,
so.
no. We need that in the event we've got a leak. We need
yeah.
to be,
Yeah, understood. That's just another reason to tack on.
no.
100% right. That's,
I can't get my
So
email.
Chris is on Winston about it, and Kim has been on him as well, so
Yeah, it's
they're
crazy.
giving it to us.
okay. Good.
We're getting it. We just got one in, so, yeah, day before yesterday.
Correct.
Yes, we just got one in. Okay, so as far as, we're finished with the general? Anything else?
Could
Well,
you go over that water
the-
split for each employee?
Yes. That is for Pris, she's 5% general fund and 95% water.
Makes sense?
Dale is 100% general fund.
Makes sense.
Kim is 50-50. Robbie is 65-35. Mason at this time is 80-20.
Okay. Those are good. Thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Thacker, you are at some point here going to give us a 3-year history on what we've actually spent and, so we can have that for our forecasting with our current budget, right, like we've been doing.
It's in your booklet.
That'll be
I
the-
mentioned that at the
Is
beginning.
it somewhere deeper in here?
It's the next page.
It's the next page.
We were almost there.
Yes. I mentioned that at the beginning of the meeting because that was on a different format. And I did
Okay.
not want to
I-
mess up our pretty format that we have now. So
that gives you the actuals
Yeah,
for
that
last year, the year before last, and then, of course, we'll compare that to this year.
that's
So Kim,
I prefer a three-year history compared to what we're currently trying to budget, if I had my preference as one council member.
let's see if I can get that together.
We'll do it. There's some different line items.
Yeah, there's a lot of, there are a lot, it'll be another spreadsheet. Cause that's a lot of different line items on that one. I mean, I can print it out, it's gonna be a different. Unfortunately, when I came on board here, it was a hot mess, as we know. And there were multiple line items. And we have
Condense that down.
condensed that down to where it's more our citizens can, I think, understand what we have now better than what they could have 3-4 years ago. But I can print out a fiscal year 20, so you're wanting a 22? An FY 22?
Or just 23, 24.
I think what you're saying is due to the formatting change that occurred, you can only go back 2 years to compare line by line.
The big formatting change occurred last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
The big one, yes.
it can be added, but
Yes. I
how's
can pull it
FY
from-
22 information gonna help with FY 26?
Given the high inflation rate, it does reduce the value of that. I'll have to agree with you that way, Mr. Floyd, but I certainly do like to look at more than 1 year's history on some of these line items when we go through this process. But if council doesn't want to do that, then I'll have to stick with whatever y'all do.
Well, I think we could get a reasonable 3 years when you take into account 23 and 24, and then annualize 25. So what if, instead, if in the next meeting, what if, Kim,
Yes.
if you just annualized FY 25 to date, to kind of give us a feel of where we would be? And it may not be that easy, because some line items are one-time expenses, and you just kind of.
Doesn't change.
Instead of an actual, just more or less do a projection through 6/30.
I think that'd be really helpful. I think we could
Okay.
get there in terms of water purchase.
I got you.
Now, when I look at water purchase to date,
Yeah,
and I'm jumping ahead,
that is not, I just told you, we have not been billed, so that's not a good projection for that at all.
and that explains it perfectly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfectly. But we were billed this week, and was it 60,000 something?
I can't get in my email.
Okay.
We'll find it.
For the next meeting, it'll
Well, it's
be
actually
there.
it's laying on my desk in there, and I can go grab it real quick.
Well, you
I'll go
you budgeted 295 for
Robbie's
water.
gonna go grab it for me real quick, because I can't get into my email, like we said.
And one,
Yes, we have received, we have gotten the reading every month. We just have not been billed until finally, I left Chris a note last time and I said, please, let's get these people again. And she did. She got them.
Fantastic.
Yes. And so they just they just sent us a bill Tuesday, I believe it was. Or when, I don't even know what day are we on?
All right.
Oh, it is Tuesday, so it must have been. Okay. But I will do that, so I'll just do a projected for 6/30/25.
Well, that would give 3 years of data,
Okay,
which, you know, and then the most current 3 years.
this one is $36,000. And this billing is for 69 days.
Okay.
The service period is 12/11/24 to 2/7/25, 2/17/25,
All righty, thank you, ma'am.
so.
It's probably the longest bill that we've had.
So Kim, let's drop the throttle here. We are starting on the water budget,
Okay.
revenue side.
Let me get to there, hold tight.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where, okay. You see I have the water sales highlighted there. Because we are billing. I assume that number will probably change for sure. The 670,000 for water sales. We're at 472 now, and that is actually through, when did I email this to you guys?
On the 28th.
Okay, that's through February 28th, from what has come, had come in through there, so February, March, April, May, June, we've got 4 more months left.
That's 708,000 if you annual.
Right.
Could you raise that to 705, please? Or at least that's my suggestion.
Yes, let me get
If you look back, FY '24 was 650,000, FY '23 was 571,000.
there. You said 7,
I think 705 is still a conservative number.
I agree. Okay. The capacity fees were at 35,
Good,
taps and connections 20,
good.
late fees 1,000, and damage penalties and meter resetting, that's 1,000.
Thank you.
Okay. Investment earnings, I'm at 55,
Makes sense.
okay? All right, and, kind of here with the grants, it's gonna be kind of like with the general fund. If you want me to,
No, oh, that's fine. The only question that stands out at me is the AIA grant. Have we already spent money from that?
So we've started receiving invoices.
yes.
I don't know that we've paid those yet because we've just gotten them for the AIA. for
But have we
Hazen.
got any revenue from it?
No, that's when we have to request reimbursement. Or is that?
So
Aaron?
What
That's the
what
one
I'm
we're
saying
not
is,
sure
it's 273,960.
Yes.
Why isn't it 300, the full amount?
Because that is the number that, you guys had approved, and we, where's my sheet at?
Grant management seat.
Yeah, my grant management
It's on the
sheet.
bottom of this stack.
Hold on 1 second. Thank you, Robbie. Okay, you guys approved, for Hazen and Sawyer, the lead and copper rule revision service line inventory of 300,000. And we have actually paid $26,040, of which we have requested 30,000. We did?
Is it-
No, it's 26.
Oh.
So,
I'm saying theirs is.
I mean, I remember the lead and service line review. That was gonna be paid for with AIA money or House Bill 1163?
We'll have to go back on the minutes and look.
Service line, inventory. Yeah, right there it
That's
is.
the,
That's it, right there. The lead and service copper, that's 30,000. That's out of House Bill 1163.
okay.
This
but
300
That is for,
So this division of water infrastructure grant and the pre-construction planning grant, both of those, one was 300,000, the other was 100,000. That totaled 400. We have gotten proposals from Hazen to encumber all those funds.
Correct.
So those funds, we received them, we've been awarded them by the Department of Water,
The
blanking on the exact.
DEQ.
DEQ. And then we turned around and gave the total amount of both of those grants to Hazen for their projects that they're working on for us.
I'm 100% with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But there's a lead and copper review that's already been done?
It's already been completed, that's right. That was, my understanding, that was out of House Bill 1163, because that was quite
Yeah,
some
yeah,
time
that's-
ago.
I'll double check that to make sure.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, and in fact, and I can just fix my spreadsheet on that, because I normally go back on the minutes and I always, I do check most of the time, but I may not have checked with you then. I try to go back on the minutes and make sure I've put those in the right categories when,
'Cause
got
that was two expenses. There was one expense for Hazen and Sawyer to submit it for us and gather the information. And the other expense with that was hiring Pilot Civil out of Surrey County to go back and do the field investigations. So that was a two-parter for
I'll
that
double
project.
check that and make sure, and if I need to change that number, I'll make it. But I used my sheet for the numbers that are, with our revenue, or not revenue, but, that we have on our management sheet for the grants.
Yep.
On that.
So we just check on that because,
I will. I will definitely check on that, for sure. Let me make myself a star. So he's thinking it was the 11:36.
Mayor, what's our target
Yes.
adjournment time tonight?
9 o'clock.
It would seem like we're getting
9:15.
pretty close to that time.
9:15.
9:15 is where we're shooting for.
So I need to talk
Somebody
really
better
fast.
start
Yeah,
pulling
The-
the trigger.
The
we
throttle
we
drop.
cooperated on the,
I'm
we
already,
cooperated on the pledge, so
Better start pulling the trigger then.
okay, let's
Don't get done by
go.
then.
Water purchase, we're gonna need to change that number. And that one, I'm gonna have to wait and when I get caught up on the bills on this time, when I get the remaining bills, so
So-
I can have that number for days.
I think it's a good number.
Okay.
I mean, look at it, but look,
I did a shot in the dark on it. I mean, I did.
well, if your 23 was 199, your 24 was 245, and so that's a $46,000 increase. You've got it going up.
I did, yeah. I went up on it.
Okay. But I don't know what 25 will be. I forgot about that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping that maybe we'll get another bill in to get us caught up on these bills between, we only really need one more to get us caught up for, for the water.
I understand.
bills. Yeah,
What you're saying is the absence of water bills the last 3 months have thrown you off.
correct.
Okay.
And I'm just making sure, yes.
You can
But I just kinda did a shot in the dark on that one, just hoping.
So the next meeting, the number that'll be in there is a number you feel confident with, because you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You can add 36 to that right now.
Yeah, yeah, right, I can add 36 to this number here, correct, yeah. So, yeah, we can definitely move that one up to 160 roughly. You can
So-
move your actual up to about
Yeah.
160 now, so,
Okay, so looking at your category here, everything else seems to be pretty nicely budgeted.
Looks good to me. Nice job.
Water meters, that did increase, remember? So are we good with it? Okay.
yeah, the water meters, those increased, so I chose 45 on that one.
The reading of them,
Oh, you're talking about that, yeah, that's 14.4, excuse me, 1,400
instead of,
$1,200 a month, that we were paying with Yates Construction, so that's now 1,400, so I did up that
Good job.
on that one. And there was something else, if you look at, hold on, it'll come to me. No,
I mean, if anything's high, it's the engineering for non-capital projects, but, I'd rather it be there than not be there.
yes, because because we never know about that either, and I know that we've got these projects going on, so,
So I like the way you budgeted the capital projects, which is just a balance of all those, that
That's
pool of
correct.
grant money, taking out what we've already spent to date.
yes, and I'll make sure that number's right when we get, the number's gonna be the number, but it may just switch on the categories, items rather. And then, of course, your shared overhead expense, that number's gonna change a little bit because we've done a few changes in the budget, on the general
General
side.
fund side.
Understood,
Because
but,
it will mirror that.
but it's not gonna change because the percentage allocation has not changed.
That's
correct.
correct.
And in the next meeting, we'll discuss the pros and the cons of including, the stipend as part of that.
Got you.
As well as the deputy clerk.
Yes, if somebody wants to discuss that, it won't be me, but if somebody wants to discuss that, that's
Changing
fine.
Mason's allocation,
Oh,
split
oh, oh,
allocation.
oh. Okay,
The water tank maintenance is good.
yeah.
Is there anything else pressing with this, Kim?
No, like I said, thank you guys for this initial meeting. It helps me a lot.
Well, it helps us a lot too.
Yeah, yes,
Thank you for all your hard
Good,
work.
good presentation.
absolutely.
Kim.
Thank you.
Robbie, thank you for your
Yes.
eloquent wordsmithing.
You're welcome.
Thank you to the congregation, too.
And I just wanted to reiterate, like I said, I'll work with Kim on these tables. Just keep in mind, for these purposes, these budget workshops, we'll focus on the numbers in the tables. And then once we set those numbers, I'll update the budget ordinance and the budget message accordingly, so.
Great.
Excellent.
As far as fee schedules go, does that include the new fees for Yates?
No, so the fee schedule I have not touched, simply because.
Oh, we didn't change that.
Correct. So until you all decide if you want, how you want to increase those based on our new
Yeah.
increasement from Yates,
Right now, we're just absorbing it as a town.
that is
Just-
correct.
We're
We
taking a
started,
bath. We're losing.
we are. We
We need to change it.
we agreed
I
to
agree.
pay
Never,
the
ever
the increased rates on January the 10th. And so since January the 10th, we've been paying a higher rate than what we've adjusted our fee schedule for. That's correct.
So now we're losing money.
So we need that on the next agenda. We're gonna have a long meeting, but we need to have one. I mean,
I'll be glad to add that to
is
the
that,
agenda.
do we know, what do you think, guys?
Yes, yeah,
No,
yes.
I can dig up the math in the proposal that I had a couple meetings ago.
So I need to void this.
We don't need to be giving the town's money away.
Well, right now we are.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We don't need to.
Also, for the soccer field rental, could we have a rental for when you use the lights
Not yet.
at $15 an hour or something? It needs to be more than just the regular fee.
I'm at the ball field, volleyball court.
I'll add that to the March agenda. Who wants to take that on? Whose name would you like? Fee schedule.
Well, just the water piece, the new lines, the new connections,
Okay.
not the
entire.
entire fee schedule as a whole. Or we can just wait to do it as part of this.
The next
I-
budget meeting.
Yeah.
Can we do that in the budget meeting? That's something we have to vote
And
on.
that's part of the budget meeting. Now, it would go into effect July
July
1st as
1st.
opposed to immediately.
So I will add, that fee schedule, you all have the authority to change that at any time throughout the year. You don't, once it's set on July 1st, doesn't mean it's set in stone. You can go up or down. So just keep that in mind. But that said, you don't have to wait till July 1st to up it, or you can. It's your choice. So.
What do you think, Jimmy?
I mean, we're giving the money away.
That we don't know what to do.
Need to at least talk about it.
Okay, I'll add it. No problem.
All right.
Let's be sure we've got it on the next agenda. We have anything else?
Public comments.
Citizens comment.
Going to open it up for public comments. Do we have any public comments? Anyone like to speak up? Good, bad, or indifferent?
Very good.
All right. Council comments? Mr. Foy?
I have no comments. Everybody have a great week. Thank y'all for all the work that you've done, and thank you guys.
Mr. Landrith?
I don't have any comments.
Mr. Jones?
Nor do I, Mr. Mayor.
And I really don't either, but I would like to thank you all for the efforts that you've put into this, and thank you all for this evening.
Motion to adjourn?
Let me do a couple of announcements real quick. Regular town board adjustment meeting is canceled for 3/11/2025, the 3/13/2025. Town council meeting is at 7 PM. The 3/20/2025 regular town park improvement committee meeting is at 5:15 PM. 3/27/2025 regular town planning board meetings at 7 PM. 4/01/2025 special call town council meeting for the budget shop is at 7 PM. All of those will be conducted here in the town hall. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Yep.
Got a motion, a second. Mr. Foy? Aye. Mr. Landrith? Mr. Jones?
Aye.
And I am aye.
Yeah, of course I can.
Cap to this pen. Yeah. I could get it, but I'd have to be there I'd have to be there all night. Thank you.